Just stack a pattern of 10 blocks here while you try to memorize that pattern. After all 10 blocks are stacked, we'll knock over the tower. And the 6 smartest celebrities to recreate my pattern with their blocks from memory will move on.
Now, I never thought there would be a world where MrBeast would have some correlation to what we do here at Mind Body One with the mental and the muscle, but here we are. So he had this new video at the time of this recording, has over 40 million views. It's only been one day. So of course he does numbers. But the takeaway is I saw in this challenge of 30 celebrities competing for $1 million for their charity of choice, they had 2 specific challenges that revolved mental thinking as well as some physical components. And they had to choose if they want to choose the mind side or the strength side. So it was pretty split evenly, and you surprised some of the celebrities that went to each side. But the mental task starting off was a memory task. And you know, when it comes to Mind Body One, we do a lot of things on the cognitive performance side of things where you have to use something called working memory. Now, what is working memory? It's basically your ability to take in information in real time, like right now you're listening, manipulate it and figure out what to do with it and allocate it for later or make a decision to use it now or both. Now, in this challenge, MrBeast had 10 blocks stacked up on a tower and Kevin Hart was putting up one by one, and the participants had to memorize the order they saw the colors going from bottom to the top. Now, this is using working memory because they had to take it in instantly. It was about a few seconds on the video, but it probably had a little bit more in real time. But they had to take in that information, and as each block was stacked more and more, they had to remember the order as new information was given. And crazy enough, 5 to 7 items, things you take into memory, is about average. So giving them 10 was overload. And think of cognitive load just like you would think of lifting weights. If you just have the barbell and you're pressing it or squatting it, it's not that hard. Put on some 45-pound plates, one on each side, it's heavier, so forth until it gets too heavy. And that's how cognitive load works. So giving them 10 items is definitely challenging. Now, there's some tricks to this because when you have a lot of information, you want to condense it as much as possible. And in psychology, we call this chunking. That means taking bits of information and putting it together and chunk it in smaller parts instead of 10 different items, maybe 3, maybe 4. So there's a way we can do this. So as you see, when he stacks it, whether it's blue, red, green, yellow, you can see that the colors are going up. So the way to chunk it in this case is instead of remembering red, blue, red, yellow, you remember just the first letter because you're effectively going from 3 letters in the word, 4 letters in the word, 8 letters in the word, whatever it is, to just 1 letter. So you do the maths, 10 times 4 to 7, that's about 60 items you're really remembering when you think about it. Yeah, it's a word, but it's a lot going into your brain. But if you just do 1 letter, R, B, Y, G, now you only got 4. So remembering R, RB, RBY, RBYG. And now that limits it to 10 items, but you can even go further because if you want to make it a word, even if it's not a true word, so like RYBG, it could be like red, yellow, green, blue. You just remember RYBG or RYBG. So you see how I'm making it smaller and smaller. So let's take a look at it and see how it actually went in real time. So we see here on the video, green, blue, red, green, yellow, blue, green, red, blue, yellow. Do you remember all that? Probably not, and neither do I. But if you wanted to go through the chunking method, it would be green, blue, red, green. So you could be GBRG. So GBRG could be Gibrig. Now that might be hard to remember. So you might just say GBRG. That's 1 4-letter cohort. And the next 4 you could do YBGR, GBRG, YBGR, GBYG, YBGR. You can make it a song even. You can make it in a way where it's going to remember. Then there's 2 left, and that would be BY. So by. So what do we have? GBRG, YBGR, GBRG, YGBR, by BY. Now you just took 10, you made it into technically 3, or if you want to do the word route, you can make it even shorter if you want to get crazy, depending on how your mind takes it. So when he knocks it over, all that's gone. So they have to think in real time. He didn't give him a lot of time to look at it. Like I said, in the actual showing, it was quick cuts, but in real time, he maybe gave him a little longer, but still, that's a lot to take in. So if you notice, a lot of people were getting it wrong by a few. Dwight Howard even forgot one.
I missed the green one.
Maybe you should have done the strong game.
So that comes in when working memory and cognitive load makes you forget things and you stress. He literally forgot there was supposed to be 10. So even if he got them right up until that point, he missed one somewhere. So it made the whole thing incorrect. So this is crazy how you're able to manipulate information. This is the perfect example, and I'm glad he put this in. Now, how can we do this in real time using what Mind Body 1 does? So on our Think Fast app, we have a task called the in-back task. Now, on the in-back task, you're able to do almost verbatim this same task in real time. So it'll show different colored blocks. So it'll be red, then it'll show blue, then show green. So N is a variable, meaning it stands for how many times back. So we usually do 2 to start because 2 is not as hard, but we can go up to 3 or even 4. So what color did you see 2 times back? So if it flashes red, blue, red, 2 times back would have been red. Is that a match? Then we click the button, match. And it continues. Now it bumps it off. So red, blue, red is gone. So now it's blue, red. Let's say the next one is green. Blue, red, green. What was 2 back? Blue. Does that match green? No, not a match. So doing this task, we give you a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever the time duration is. But the goal is to be quick, but also accurate, because after the end, you get a score and it'll show you how well you did. And this is building up that working memory capacity. So this is how we take some real-time mental training tasks and make it applicable and objective. But the fact that MrBeast did it, I think it's pretty cool. Now, the second one was the strength task using the muscle instead of the mind. So this one, they took it from Survivor and they had to hold onto a pole and they had to do it till at least a few people were left over, and the first few that dropped were eliminated. Now, people who chose this one didn't know what they were getting into. Now, while this is a type of strength, it's something we call isometric strength. That means you're contracting for a long duration of time. So for example, there's concentric, eccentric, and isometric. So to get simply put it in exercise physiology, eccentric means the muscle gets longer. Concentric means the muscle gets shorter, and isometric means it stays the same. It doesn't get longer or shorter. And that's what they're doing, because when they hold on, they're contracting. So between the upper body and lower body, the legs, the core muscles, your abdomen, your obliques, and then your upper body, your shoulders, your biceps, your traps, all that's locked in and is not getting longer or shorter. So why is this hard to do? Because eventually the muscle's going to fatigue. So there's muscle endurance, there's isometric contractions because it's not changing, lengthening, and it's also core strength. So depending on how you train, this might have been a great drill. And as you saw, some of them were in great shape. That the WWE wrestler sisters, one of them fell early. So it's not always the most athletic, but this is where the mental comes in. You're like, how do you bring this in? So with the mental game, there's something in our brain called the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex. So what the ACC does, it predicts or it interprets pain and fatigue based off of how we judge our external surroundings. So you're like, how does this all tie in? So if I'm always thinking, is this right or wrong? Is this good or bad? Is this heavy or light? Is this hard or easy? Whatever that is, your brain reciprocates that. So you can train this doing drills like we just mentioned. So for example, using working memory load, it strains different components of this region, and you have to give feedback. So we actually have a task that not mimics this specifically, but it brings some components. And I've done this many times. So we'll have a drill or you're doing some kind of physical exercise. In this case, we're going to use a Zercher squat where the barbell's in your crevices of your elbows and you're holding it like this and you squat. And we have on the screen flashing colors, red, green, blue, whatever it is. And as you see the color, you squat and then you get back up. And at the end of all the reps, we do 7, which is at the tip of the working memory load, like we mentioned. Then you have to recall them in the order you saw them, just like you did kind of on the blocks test. Now, while that's going on, this specific one, I have these headphones on doing something called sledging, where it's taunts of external, like, you can't do this. That's all you got. That's not enough. In my ear while I'm trying to memorize the stuff and hold that weight. So this kind of gives some relevance to the Beast video because they're talking, they're saying things, they're distracting them.
How are you going to get out of this position?
I don't know.
You got to be able to focus. So to bring it all full circle, you're training the brain to be better tolerable to the fatigue and the pain of doing the physical task. You're doing something strength-wise that's challenging the core, challenging the muscles, and you're adding that working memory so it can challenge the frontal lobe, the part of the brain that does have the ACC to pertain to all that we're doing. So just like a physical, that's what we do here at Mind Body 1. We're able to tie everything in. And this is great that MrBeast was able to give this side because mental performance is very important. And here at Mind Body 1, we do it in a way that's different, but it's very applicable.